take the information you have provided earlier and submit it in the summary of the complaint. That's okay with you, just to confirm. Is that correct?
Yes, I would like that, as well as all of the YouTube videos and the emails, including all of the emails that I have previously sent, with the 100 gigabytes of hard drive that I have sent, as well as all of the hours of YouTube content that I have sent.
Okay, thank you. And to confirm, did you send the email to our email address at oiprdcomplaints@ontario.ca?
All of them.
Do you recall which?
I sent every email that I could find, every single email that I could find on the internet that had the OIPRD, including the accommodations as well as even media, because I'm interested in going to the news about this as well. I think the story needs to be talked about. And I strongly believe that there will not be any changes until we talk about things, and that's why I want to proceed most definitely the furthest possible and get this on public record and get this in court documents so that it is, sealed away and allows for more growth in the future and policy changes. And if things don't happen right away, then at least it is a stepping stone, and we need this. So I can do it. I'm competent enough and crazy enough to do all of this.
So to confirm, I'm taking a look at the emails inbox, and I do see an email from your email address, April 29th. So that is one email that will be included. I don't seem to see any more on the OIPRD complaint email inbox.
Let me check.
I see the one that says Ontario Landlord Tenant Board application for T2. I see that email that we can include.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of issues. A lot of my issues are related to the lack of cohesive policies between the police and housing. Okay, so there's a huge disconnect there, and when you look at the recordings, you're just gonna you're not even gonna, whoever reads them, they're gonna be like, wow, what a fucking mess. I would not want to be Aaron. That is a nightmare. Who wants nobody to take responsibility for anything? It's been really traumatizing. I've had to call. I've had to escalate. I have, the city doesn't care, the tenant board doesn't care, and the police board don't care. And they all refer me to the tenant board about everything. And then the tenant board will tell me, well, we only deal with A, B, C, D, and you have to go to the police for E, F, G, H, I. That's all criminal behavior. And we don't do that. You have to go to the police for that. And then I go to the police for that, and they go, oh, we don't do that. We have to go. You have to go to the tenant board for that. And I have it all recorded. And it's a joke. And my life was at risk. And it still was. And then, there's a lot. There's a lot. You'll see. I'm not your average case.
Yeah, so I'll definitely include the email that we received that I just mentioned, and I will include the summary that you gave earlier on this call, and I will include that in the summary.
Yeah.
If there's anything else you want to add, you can mention it, and I can include that as well.
Yeah, there should be emails on the 21st and the 26th, but I don't know what time it and then I spoke to Yadi?
Mm-hmm.
Is that you? No.
Mm-hmm.
Was that you?
Yes. Yeah.
Back on...
YAACHD. Yeah.
I spoke to you on April 23rd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes. Did you want that call as well as part of your evidence, or?
Yep, that would be great.
Okay, and just to confirm, the email from the 21st and 26th, I don't see that in our email inbox unless you had sent it to one of our other emails.
I sent it to OIPRD complaints and OIPRD accommodations, and the entire message has everything that I need that should be on there. There might be a couple more. There is actually a few more videos that I have not included, but this really does give a brief introduction into some of the issues that I've had with the justice system, as well as the London Police Services, as well as the Crown Attorney. So, I know that you are only here to handle the police services, so just what I need you to do, though, is to ensure that somebody takes everything else into context. Okay, so it may not be in relationship directly to the police, but it is very important to look at the entire discovery that I have to understand the relationship between the police and all of the other conflicts going on in my life, to understand the kind of meltdown that I would be in that given moment, because it is really important to understand that each occurrence that I've had with the police, there was a perfect storm around me as well. I'm not ashamed of anything. I'm going to be accountable for everything as well. I have to, I understand exactly what I'm getting involved in, and all of the lawsuits that I am filing at the Human Rights Tribunal, which is apparently pretty quick, and I'm just representing myself. So who cares whatever way I don't even know which way it goes, but whatever way it goes, it's still a stepping stone. So that's my goal, and I need this put on record. I keep saying that because I just need to know that people are talking about these kinds of things and ways to fix them and where the holes are in the system. I'm not looking to, get anybody fired. I'm not looking to, I do want compensation for some of the traumas that I've had, but I don't think you guys deal with that. I need you to ensure that the Ontario Police Services are held to a level of standard that accommodates 100% of the population, like 100% of the population, and they're not. And it's not just the police either. It's you, and it's the healthcare service, and it's the justice system, and the education system as well. Nobody has training on people like me. It's really hard. It's really hard to be judged constantly and treated less than.
Okay, thank you. So I will include the summary you gave as well. And just to confirm, I checked our emails again for an email from the 26th. I can't seem to find it on the OIPRD complaints inbox. So
it says,
would it be possible
I can resend
forward
it.
that to us again?
Yeah, I'll resend it right now. Can you,
okay, thank you.
Which email do you have access to?
Yeah, OIPRD complaints
Okay.
with an S at the end at ontario.ca. And if you want to forward any other email, you mentioned one from the 21st. We don't have that one as well. We only have the one that we received on, let me get the date here. I believe it is the 29th. We have that one.
The 29th.
Mm-hmm. It states Ontario Landlord Tenant Board application for T2.
27th.
That's the subject in the email.
So you don't have urgent case number A2021 applicant name?
No.
Okay.
No. We don't have that.
I'm just going to forward that to you right now. And maybe there was an issue with the size limit, or
Possibly. Mm-hmm.
So OIPRD complaints at ontario.ca, right?
Yeah, complaints with an S at the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's Dear Human Rights Tribunal Legal Services. But this is in relationship. This has a lot of information in relationship to the police as well. All of it is relevant in this case, though. So I just need you all to make sure that you are aware of it, to understand all of the different traumas that are going on in my life. I think it is absolutely necessary, and I also think it's necessary for someone with training on autism to be reviewing this file as well. So I'm going to send this right now. It's a lot. It's extremely overwhelming, and I'm also tired of being discriminated against for being too much or different or using, unconventional methods to get things done, or not doing things exactly how people want them to. There is a lawsuit even against right now the Law Society referral program, or the Law Society of Ontario, for ill-training lawyers. I have been refused representation for a couple of years now for every reason in the book, and a couple of them have come out of their way to say that it's because they don't have training in autism, but the majority of them, tell me that it's too much, that they don't have time for me, and they refer me to another person. No one has told me I don't have a case. They all say that I have a case, but they're too busy. I've gone through the Law Society referral program even looking for people who are available, and they too still tell me that they're too much. So I'm forced to represent myself, and it is too traumatizing for me to relive this and jump through all of these system circus hoops. It's impossible. Expecting someone who has suffered so much to be jumping through all of these hoops is abuse, and I'm putting an end to it. So going forward, things are going to be very different, in my opinion. And I think that I really do have a story to prove this narrative, and how we need to be better towards people with different brains. This is really the reality of it at the end of the day. We just have different brains, and we all need to be educated on everybody's brain from the very beginning, from childhood. And people need to be trained, and education, and healthcare and justice systems on how to treat 100% of the population. No more, you're not normal, so you must be the criminal. Anyways. So this is all very important too. This is part of my submission, and this is also my motive, which I think is extremely important in situations like this, because I am not a vengeful, spiteful kind of person. For me, this is all a coaching opportunity. At the end of the day, and I have every police officer that I have had an issue with, I have informed them that they will be coached. And I promise them that they're going to be coached. Just like you. You're going to be coached too. And a lot of people across the system are going to be coached. Because it's time. And we need to start putting in mandatory training. And it's unacceptable. Like, I pay taxes. I'm not getting the services that my taxes pay for. And I've also, because I have been denied equitable, qualified services across the board, I'm no longer paying my taxes. I refuse. And I've told the CRA this as well. And I'm a member of this parliament. And everybody else. I'm not paying for things that I don't get access to. I don't get access to justice, and you will clearly see that with this report. I have been denied access to healthcare. I've been denied access to a lot of different things across the board. And my education, my time in university was really bad as well. So I did great. I excelled. I was still one of the best in my class, and I graduated with great marks. But my relationship with people in the institution were extremely, they were unqualified, just like how you are. And people are not prepared for people like me. You're not prepared for people like me, unless you're just trained to be like this, and I don't accept that kind of training. People need to be relatable. People need to show empathy. People need to stop faking that they understand. You can't understand unless you've been in my shoes, so don't fake it. And people really do need to show that they're listening, and I don't think that you have shown that once, really, this whole time, that you're listening. To me, I think you're just sitting there going, I can't wait to get on the next call. I'm so tired of this. I get these all day. People calling in and complain, blah, 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 blah. Well, I worked collections for 5 years, and I get it. I really do. I tell this story all the time because I get it. Being screamed at, yelled at, complained about, people feeling traumatized. I'm sure it's a lot of people every day. And it's a hard job. I get it. And you do have to shut off part of you, and some people are better at others, but you still need to fake your empathy if you don't really have any, I get it. It's a hard job, and a lot of people with empathy in this position don't make it very far. It's really hard. And anyways,
So I just, I understand, and I also want to say that I did receive your email called Urgent Case Number. I just received it right now, so I will add that to the file as well.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, and just the last thing here is you do require accommodations under the AODA Act, which is Accessibility for Ontarians with Disability Act. I'm going to check that off with your permission. Is that okay for me to do?
Yeah, that I'm asking for what accommodations exist and making new accommodations as well.
Yeah, so just to ask, how can we accommodate you? Like, for example, would you like to speak to your case coordinator on the phone versus emailing or mailing them? Or,
in writing. Email.
Sorry,
I would prefer.
In writing?
Yeah, it would be best via email and writing.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I would like the next conversation with me to be made after everything has been reviewed in full. I don't want anybody to ask me to continue narrating what I've already submitting. I'm not going to read. I'm not anyone's babysitter. I'm not going to sit there and read it for them. Okay? I'm not going to give anybody any more of a summary. No more of that. Just go through it. All of it. I'm not going to babysit anybody anymore. I've prepared it. It's there. I'm not narrating it. I'm not summarizing it. It's all available. 100% of it needs to be reviewed. And then we can talk. And I want somebody trained in autism. And not just trained by somebody who doesn't have autism. I want somebody to create policies in there to make sure that somebody who is actually autistic prepares evidence-based literature that is accepted by the autistic community as well.
Okay, so I've indicated here, you'd prefer communications by case coordinator through email, and you'd like your next conversation to be with someone after they've reviewed the filing. You don't want to summarize your complaint again, and you would like someone trained in autism to speak to you as well.
Yep, that'd be great.
Okay, perfect. So I've included that, and the last step here is just a declaration. So I can read it out here, and if you agree, I can sign it on your behalf. So to read it out, I certify that the information provided is true. I understand the information on this form will be provided to the police chief or the OPP commissioner in care of their professional standards unit or the police services board, and that this complaint may be investigated by the professional standards unit of the service I am complaining about with oversight by the OIPRD.
I'm not sure. That's...
Okay.
Hold on a second. I don't want the police to investigate anything. The chief isn't going to touch my file. I don't want him making a single decision on it. My problem is with the police department. I thought that this was a third-party review.
Yeah, so just to explain the process, so when your complaint gets submitted, someone at the OIPRD, so a case coordinator, will go over the file and they'll make a decision. So they can either screen it out or they can screen it in for investigation. So if it decides to be sent to investigation, it gets sent to the professional standards branch of the police service, and the professional standards branch would go over the complaint with the OIPRD as well. We have oversight over them, so they would provide us with 45-day updates on what they're doing, and we would take a look at those updates, and then
I understand.
the final
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
So the final report, the professional standards branch, after they finish it, they send it to us, and the director actually goes over it. The director of the OIPRD goes over it, and only after that is the final decision made.
Okay, so I don't want them to have access to my personal Google Drive, although they do, like it's public. I don't need that submitted to the London Police, but it is important to be reviewed because I'm going to be submitting it on public record through the court system, and I already have actually, so I don't really know what to say with that. I'm just trying to think about more or less your involvement with the police services are more or less related to resolution matters should the investigation be approved, or are they involved in the investigation? Like what part do the London Police Services play with this report that I'm creating with the review board?
So the professional standards branch of the London Police Service, they will be the ones conducting the investigation, and then it's overviewed by the OIPRD. So they constantly update us with updates on what they're doing, and after the report is made, it comes back to us, and the director will review the report before making the final decision.
And
so,
who pays the bill for the people at this professional police review? So you guys give the report to the London Police Services for them to do the investigation. They send you a report, and then you make a decision?
Yeah, so
that doesn't sound safe.
The investigative report is done by them. However, they send it back to us, and the director will go over the report before making the decision.
What's the point in that? I don't understand. You guys, that doesn't make any sense. Why am I calling a third party to just watch them oversee them do everything how can you? No, I do not trust the London Police Services. I do not trust a single employee. I don't care who they are. I do not want any of them doing any part of any investigation on this file going forward. If that is what you offer as a service, I would rather go through the Human Rights Tribunal and sue them civilly and through the Human Rights Tribunal and do it my way. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So is that how it works? Because I don't want them on my file. Can I, is that possible?
So the reason the reason we send over investigations to the professional standards branch of the police service is because the OIPRD doesn't have the capacity to investigate all of our complaints.
Why do you call them the Professional Standard Board? Why don't you just call them the London Police Service? That's who they are. Don't call them, if you try and give them a title, Professional Standard, do you think I'm going to believe that they live by professional standards? Their website says that they love to serve and protect 100% of the population, but I don't feel protected. You think I'm going to believe that just because you call them professional standards, that just all of a sudden somebody who works at the LPS is going to be professional?
So the professional standards branch, they are responsible for investigating complaints in an impartial and professional manner. They're the way it works at the OIPRD, we just don't have the capacity to investigate all complaints.
Why not? Who pays for you? Is this a service provided? Is this a public service provided by the Ontario government?
The OIPRD?
Yeah.
Are you asking?
Are you a public
Yes,
service?
we are. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your lack of let me get this straight. Your lack of capacity is a result of a lack of funding from the Ontario government. Should you have enough people trained and working there, you would be able to do the investigations independently, and actually a third-party review board, which is not currently what exists. This is not a third-party review board.
So, the OIPRD, that is the way that our policies are. I don't have, particular information on why it's like that. But, if you'd like to send an email to, the director of the OIPRD with your concerns, you may. But,
Yeah, what's his
I'm
email?
just providing you with the information.
Can I get his
So
email?
I'm letting you know that it does get sent to professional standards branch if it goes to investigation.
What is the director's email?
So you can send it to OIPRD.
No, you just said I could send an email directly to the director. What's his name? I'll attention it to
So
him.
the director doesn't have a direct email address. If you send it to our general inbox,
What's his name?
it'll be, the director's name is Stephen Leach.
How do you spell it? S-T-E-V-E-N?
STEPHAN.
A-N. A-N?
Yes, yes.
Dot, space, what's his last name?
Leach, Leach.
S-T-E-P-H-A-N-L-E-A-C-H. Okay. So he's probably Stephen Leach at ontario.ca.
We aren't able to provide email addresses, but you can send it to the OIPRD.
I'm sure he's the
email
only.
address, and
I'm sure he's the only Stephen Leach. Yeah, I know how it works. I've already emailed a few directors, and they just kind of delete my email. But I have it on record, so no response is a response, in my personal opinion. Yeah, I want this to be made attention to the director as well. I want on this call, one of my accommodations for the director, the leader of this police review board, to listen to these videos, this recordings, both of this recording for you, that explains everything on top of some of the policies that I want to change, including all of the funding that currently goes into the police to be redirected to this board to have the capacity to independently review things, because I will not allow the London Police to review my file. It is a waste of time for me. I will not sit around, and I will file a human rights tribunal against the Ontario Independent Police Review Board, as well as the London Police, and I believe that my rights are being violated by you allowing the person who violated me to review my file. Does that make sense?
So the declaration that I asked you about to check and sign the name, that is a requirement for filling out our formal complaint form. So would you like me to, sign the box with your name, or would you not like me to do that? If you decide not to do that, we aren't able to submit a formal complaint.
Can you have the director review this call before I sign that? Or are you forcing me to do that? Because that to me is a human rights issue as well.
No, the director isn't able to listen to the phone calls, but I'm
Your
letting
manager?
you know that
Who's going to review this? Can I get your manager?
We don't have managers on the phone line, but if you'd like to accept the declaration, you can.
What is the level of
If
hierarchy
not,
there? Like who would be in charge of the accommodations at this department, like who's the director of accommodations. I want him to review my call before I sign that. And I want him to contact me to let me know what we can do about it. Because no, I believe it should be amended. I want to amend that. Do you understand?
We don't have a direct point of contact for the manager.
No. I want you to forward it to him. Do you know how to do that? Oh my god, I'm sorry.
No.
This is just I'm just like I'm losing it. My patience for the public system. It's so funny. And you're like, Do you know how disrespectful it is when you keep going, I don't think you realize.
I'm here to help you.
No, you're not.
I'm here to help you with the complaint form.
Oh my god.
These are questions I need to ask, like the declaration.
God.
If you want to sign it, you can. If you don't, you don't need to, but that is something that is required on the form.
Nothing is absolutely required. Okay? Nothing. There is exceptions to every single thing that exists. Maybe you haven't been doing this long enough, but let me tell you, I am unprecedented. You will be trained to do much better than what you're offering right now. And I have really lost my patience with you. So if you could just have your manager listen to this call, I would be really grateful for that and submit my application. And I am done talking to you, and I don't want you to talk to me ever again until you're trained. Okay? You keep doing what I tell you not to do. Do you understand how disrespectful it is when you keep every single time I finish talking, your only response is but the contract, but this, but that.
I'm not able to provide a personal opinion on or anything on the things that complainants say.
Well, this call needs to be monitored for quality because you are not trained at all for this. Okay? Trust me. Trust me. You're not prepared for people like me.
We aren't able to provide our own opinions, which is why I can't say anything. But in terms of the declaration, if you would like me to submit the form on your behalf, I do need your confirmation. And so in order for me to sign it on your behalf.
This has been such a waste of time, I think. Well, you know what? Honestly, I'm recording it. It's going on YouTube. It's an experience. Letting people know that it's useless to call the OAPRD because if you just want your police, if you have a complaint about the London Police, you might as well just sue them because if you go to the Ontario Independent Review Board, they're just going to send it to the London Police to review it anyway because they don't have enough people or the capacity to even train their people. Yeah, this is accommodations. This is who they sent me from accommodations. I'm so sorry. I'm really mean right now because I've lost all my patience, and yeah, like I just can't. I think your behavior on this call is unacceptable as well. I don't know if it's your fault. I don't know what you're like in real life, so please don't take it personally. This is my experience with the Ontario Police Review Board, okay? So whatever restrictions you have on being a human that are in place, this is where my anger is directed at, okay? So don't take it personally. But I'm really fed up with the justice system. I mean, I think we can agree. So, no, I will not sign that, but I want your manager to review this entire phone call. And I believe that my rights have been violated by the Ontario Independent Police Review Board. And, you know, if this is just another thing that I add towards my issues with the Ontario government, that when I take this to court, that's fine. You know, like... I understand that this is a public service and that you guys are also restricted by a budget. So, if that's the excuse, then I will make sure that the person supplying that budget equips you guys better with better resources. So, and no, I don't want London Police to have my file. So, my declaration to hand over my file to them, it's so cute. Like, it's so cute too. Like, you could have told me that at the very beginning of this call, and I probably wouldn't have spent an hour and a half on the call with you. To be quite fair, I would have just been like, okay, you know what? That's not in my best interest. That's not something that I think is acceptable. And I will not be allowing the London Police Services to be reviewing or investigating or having any hands on my file. I thought this was an independent review board, not a internal review board. With oversight. I love it. Oversight. You guys should be called the Oversight Review Board. Anyways, I think I've said enough. I think this is also a public statement, so I apologize for being rude. I can't help it. So, and it's honestly, if I was not triggered so much by all of these horrible things that have happened to me, and how cold you have been throughout this entire conversation, and and how cold of treatment I get across the board from everybody, is just very triggering. You and your behavior and the system's behavior. It's extremely triggering to be discussing some of these things with people that cannot relate, have no idea how to respond, and continuously show zero empathy for other people. So, yeah, thank you. I don't know what you're gonna do, but this is going on the. I want your manager to call me back. Period. So, and if I need to get their manager, and if I just need to climb the ladder at the Independent Police Review Board too, that'd be great. But tell your manager to listen to this call, okay?
So we aren't able to provide, managers with public. They don't speak to the public directly. So if you'd like to send us an email,
did you hear me?
With your concern.
Did you hear what I just said? You guys have access to this phone call. I want your manager to listen to this phone call. Do you know how to listen? Your manager is honestly, I hope your manager is going to coach you. I really do after this. Your manager, whoever it is, I don't care who it is. I don't want to talk to him. I don't care. I don't care about your policies anymore. I'm tired of listening to you make excuses for everything. I'm so tired of it. Please, have your manager listen to this phone call and send somebody else. And are you the only?
Are recorded. However, if you'd like to send us, everything needs to be written down in paper. So if you'd like to send us an email with your concern, you can definitely do that. Because all of our concerns do need to be put in writing in email.
Wow.
And our phone calls are also recorded, so if they need to be reviewed, they will. And just to confirm, so since you don't agree with the declaration, I won't be able to submit the complaint form on your behalf today.
Why not?
Since we do need a declaration in order to submit the complaint form.
That's a bit oppressive,
So
don't you think? Don't you think that's coercive? Do you know what coercion is?
I won't be able to submit it on your behalf. So you can.
What are you going to do with the information?
Declaration.
What are you going to do with the information?
So this complaint form will be removed and deleted since if you would like not to submit it. So that's totally fine and that's totally up to you. But I just need to let you know that I won't be able to submit it on your behalf.
Well, can I amend it?
Yeah. So, sorry, by amending, would you like to say yes to the declaration, or would you like to amend something else of the complaint form?
I would like to amend part of the declaration that says that the London Police Services will be reviewing this or doing the investigation.
we aren't able to amend the declaration. If you agree to the whole declaration itself, you may sign it.
This is
But
extremely
yeah,
oppressive,
we aren't
people.
able to amend the declaration.
This is the Ontario government at work here. How long have you worked here? Has it always been like this?
I'm not able to provide information as to how long I've been working or how long our policies have been like this.
When was this policy put into place? How long have the London Police been doing the investigation for you?
So in order for that information, I would need to look into that since I don't have a specific date. But I can look that into you and I can send you a response through email if you'd like.
So I can put in that request, but if I want the manager to review it, I have to put it in writing through an email. That seems a little different. I don't think you really know what you're doing, sweetie.
On hand right now.
You know what? You're all over the place. Do you understand that? You are all over the place. One minute you're telling me every request has to go in writing and email, and then the next moment, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. I can find that out for you and send it to an email.
If it's a question about the OIPRD, I just don't have it on hand, but I can definitely look into the OIPRD.
Sure.
And when you asked when the declaration came into place, I can look that into you.
Sure.
But anything that needs to be gone through a manager, that needs to be sent to us through email.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Because you're not able to do that, right? You're not allowed?
Because if you have
you're not allowed?
Concern, that needs
Tell
to
me right now. I want to know right now. I want you to speak for every single person at the Ontario Police Review Board that they are not allowed to talk to their manager and tell them that they want their call reviewed. Go ahead.
So we aren't able to do that because the complainant needs to put it in writing.
You've been told so directly that that's the
forwarded
only
to the
option.
manager.
You've been told by the manager that that's the only option. On record.
Yes, that is,
On
that
record,
is our policy.
yes.
That is the option.
And that's the only way that it's done. Not a single other person there will do it. Is that correct?
That's correct. Our manager
That's
needs
crazy.
to see everything in writing, so it needs to be sent in writing.
All these fucking hoops. It's like I have to do your job for you.
So everything needs to be in writing. If you do have a concern, the reason it needs to be in writing is so we have it on record.
I'm not.
So, which is why.
I think you're absolutely. This service is absolutely useless as is. So I will not be signing that. I have it on record. This hour and a half, 90 minutes or whatever that we've talked. I've recorded the videos. They will be going on YouTube. If you choose to do nothing about it, if you choose to not tell your manager about this risk and exposure, that is your job. If you choose not to tell your manager to listen to this call or to let them know what happened on this phone call, that is on you, my dear. So I will leave that up to you. And, I will be going to the Human Rights Tribunal about the Ontario government in relationship to how you guys are funded and permitted to allow a person or an entity that violated to conduct the investigation, which has already been done and proven that is not the right way. Like I've already asked them to investigate. I've already asked them to do their job. They're not doing it. So I don't expect them to do it, even with oversight. So I think it's just better for the courts. I think that I am going to not waste my time with any more trauma associated to this that is not going to do anything for me in a positive way. This seems rather redundant, and I'd rather just proceed legally and sue the London Police Board directly and go to the Human Rights Tribunal about the violations for that. And I tried to do this, and I will have this on record, that I tried every single thing possible to avoid litigation, including calling you guys, but feeling completely inadequate with the services provided by you and the Ontario government overall. Okay?
So, yeah, just to confirm, I won't be submitting the complaint on your behalf today. Just wanted to state that as well.
I'm such a dick.
And yes, any concerns you have, you're more than welcome to email us as well.
Yeah, totally. I don't know what that'll be for. Oh god. Anyways, anything else?
That's all for today.
Yeah, definitely. It is like talking to a wall with you, sweetie. Take care. Adios.
You have a great day.
Yeah, oh, I will. Totally, yeah. Have a great day, she says. What the fuck was that?